We have an extraordinary treat for you tonight on Montage, a minor departure from our normal way of doing things here, but I think you're going to enjoy it. At least I'm looking forward to it, because we have with us a gentleman who's responsible for a great many things we listen to, some of the music that causes us to go out and buy, and maybe curse sometimes, but at any rate has a great deal to do with our lives. Our guest is Barry Manilow. Welcome to Montage.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
I think a lot of people do not know. They probably recognize the name, but they don't realize some of the things you're responsible for in the world of commercials.
Commercials? Well, I mean, responsible is not the word. I mean, I have been involved in the commercial field for about 4 years now, and I have lucked in to a lot of very popular commercials. Either I've written them, or I sing on a lot of them, or I've arranged them, or I've produced a few. And yeah, I'm involved in a lot of stuff that a lot of people know.
Well, so they'll recognize you. Give us one off the top.
Well, the one that everybody seems to think that I wrote, which I didn't, is this one. I just sing on this one, and I've made a lot of money on it. Isn't that terrible to say? It goes like this: "You deserve a break today." It's that one, and I lucked into singing on that one because of a State Farm insurance commercial that I wrote. I wrote the State, which goes. Yeah. It goes. Whenever you're driving, and wherever you're bound, on freeways and byways, the whole country round, you'll feel better knowing anytime, anywhere, just like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And I tell you, I lucked into the McDonald's commercial on that because I didn't get paid enough for the State Farm insurance commercial.
Now, you wrote the State Farm?
Yes,
okay.
And the same agency that I wrote the State Farm insurance commercial for knew that something had gone wrong, because that commercial is going for like 4 years now, and they paid me $600 for that commercial, and I never saw anything else. And I came to them about a year later, and I said, "Excuse me, fellas, don't you think there's something wrong in this?" Because the girl that is singing the State Farm is on her third Rolls Royce after singing it, you know. And so they said, "Yes, we do." And what they did was they put me on the McDonald's spot, yeah. And they made up for it that way.
Well, the McDonald's goes how?
Well, I just played that, yeah. You deserve a break today. I don't know exactly who wrote it. I hear that a jingle singer wrote it, and then there are a couple of more people that are taking credit for it. I really never found out who exactly wrote that one.
Well, now, when you sat down to write the State Farm, give us the process of how that happened. Did you sit with the State Farm policy sitting on the piano?
No, that one, they all come differently, but that one, they actually gave me a lyric to write to. They gave me "Whenever you're driving and wherever you're bound." And they gave me this whole lyric, and they told me to write a commercial, and I figured that for that lyric, it sounded like a pretty warm lyric. And I figured they wanted a ballad. And so I wrote my little version of a ballad. Now, you got to realize that when they gave me that lyric, they also gave about 25 different people the same lyric.
Oh, I see.
And so 25 other men are sitting around thinking, what should I write? Should I write a cha-cha to it, or should I write a boogaloo to it? And that's how commercials are born, because you are up against a lot of stiff competition.
Well, now, did they have a big audition day where every guy walked down the stage and gave his
No,
version?
No, it's not that. I submit mine to the agency, and then they listen to all the rest of the tapes that are submitted, and they pick the one that they feel that will suit the campaign best.
I was reading somewhere today when it was talking about you, and it was talking about the number of people who make tremendous livings singing on these commercials. We don't know their names. We don't never see them.
And they don't want you to, I guess. They are just not trying for fame, and they're not trying for to have you know their name.
Well, now, what were you doing when you first started doing this? Were you in show business in another area, or how did you get into this?
I was going to be a big arranger-conductor when I grew up. I was going to be Nelson Riddle when I grew up. And so I went to school for it, and I played piano for a lot of people in New York City. And one of the people I wound up playing piano for was Bette Midler. And at the point that I met Bette, I guess I had enough experience under my belt to be able to do what she needed, which was her arranging and her conducting, and eventually I wound up producing her records. And that's where I was going to stop. I was going to either stop with Bette or go on to Liza Minnelli or whoever else needed that job. But the road turned for me, and I made a record. I made another record, and then suddenly Mandy came out, and I found myself a singer, songwriter.
Just give us a few bars of Mandy. I know you don't want to do the whole thing. Well, I'm not really sure everybody else does.
It goes, I remember all my life, raining down as cold as ice. There's a lot left to it.
Do you feel any sort of obligation to people who like to listen to you and buy your records?
Oh yeah.
In what
Yeah.
way?
Well, personally, my own, I'm trying to clean it up a little, you know, and the pop music that I've been hearing is, that I've been hearing all my life, you know, some have been good, some have been bad. Personally, I don't want to do the bad stuff. I want to do something that I would like to hear myself, and I would like to clean it up. I am a little bored with the distorted guitars, and I'm a little bored with the folk singers falling asleep on you and baby, baby, oh baby, oh baby, you know. I would like to bring back some sort of a lyric that means something. I don't want to move any mountains. I would just like to bring back a lyric that is intelligent, and some music that is a little more sophisticated than usual.
Well, do you think the young people are moving in that direction?
They seem to be, because they seem to be enjoying what we're doing, and I listen to the radio and I look at the albums, and it seems to be creeping up.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah.
Well, so there are no commercials that we can hear tonight for the first time.
I did a Kodak spot.
Well, let's hear it. Come on.
I forgot how it goes, though. I forgot how it goes. I did a Kodak thing. It's a brand new thing. Finally, they say Barry Manilow sings for Kodak.
All right.
Hey.
All right.
How does that thing go? Do you remember the time of your life? Have you heard this thing?
No. Of course, I don't watch many commercials.
It's something like that. It's the time of your life. It was a real pretty ballad, and actually they never mentioned the name Kodak in the whole thing.
Really?
A whole minute of just a song.
But they show pictures and.
I guess on television they wouldn't. On the radio they say Barry Manilow sings for Kodak, and they have this whole ballad, and at the end they sing, "That was Barry Manilow singing for Kodak."
Right. Very good. Well, Barry, it's been a pleasure having you, and I can't remember when I've heard so many commercials that got in free in my life on a television program. But you make them all very pretty. Thank you for being with us.
Oh, thanks for asking.
Right. Montage will be back in just a moment.